The government is saying the order to the men in the field is shoot to kill. And they shot to kill. They killed a woman.
They killed the dog.
Killed the dog, then they killed the son. And they shot him in the back. The next one
they
shot
killed the dog in the back. Can you believe that, Gary? That is... Oh, man, that's a canine American. He's got his rights.
Let us understand, North Vietnam cannot defeat or humiliate the United States. Only Americans can do that.
All right, everybody. The More Minority is an ostensibly bi-weekly podcast broadcasted from an undisclosed location somewhere between Washington, D.C. and Maine.
Now, we've gone off the grid for the last 2 weeks, 2 episodes. We've been off for a while. We're back.
Yes, we're back because of personal reasons that I'm not obliged to tell any of you because I don't get paid to do this. I was busy. Oh, of course, as usual, I'm your not-so-humble correspondent, Marcel, and this is my co-host, Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan. So I was drinking a glass of water.
Cool, refreshing tap water?
Nothing but the best cool, refreshing tap water straight from the tap. I've actually had so much, it's making me retarded. I can barely talk.
All right.
That tap water is flowing through my veins. It's lowering my IQ as we speak. I can feel the tap water turning me gay as we speak.
Careful, Dan, because if there were, hypothetically, a study showing that consumption of fluoridated tap water while pregnant lowered IQ, it would, that is, lowered IQ of your infant, that would fuel conspiracy theories. And that would be the number one concern of a study like that. Not the negative health effects of the fluoride, but that it might fuel conspiracy theories.
God damn, this water is delicious.
Exactly.
Oh my God, it's so good. I've forgotten totally who Jeffrey Epstein is.
just like everyone.
Like, I vaguely remember the name. Was he, I can't remember.
He was a friend of Donald Trump's.
Oh, he was a friend of Donald Trump's. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else.
It must have not been important. I don't remember it.
Yeah, he actually crawled out of a pit in Trump Tower. Is that a trope?
I was too busy drinking this tap water. I wasn't even listening.
All right. So, for those of you who listen to our podcast as it comes out, obviously if you're listening to this sometime in the future, then you won't really care. But for those of you listening as it comes out, you'll notice that we haven't made an episode in about a month. As I said before, it's because we were busy. And also, even now as we were setting it up, there really wasn't that much news.
Yeah, this episode is purely because I've been getting messages from people demanding an episode.
Yes.
Not because we had it. We said, normally, we go, oh, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about that. There's been nothing to talk about, but you fuckers need something to listen to. So we're putting together an episode for you.
Yeah, it was a struggle to just go through the news and do we want to talk about this? Do we care anymore? Does anybody care anymore about any of these things? And no, just...
There's been no news. All the people in the government and in the media have been on vacation. And if you ever needed proof that news is just purely manufactured, it's been proven in the fact that when they want to, they can just shut it off. And all of a sudden, there's no news for a month. As
usual, we're going to stick with the normal pattern. Democrats, Trump, libertarians, the media, clown world, and then one of us will... We have consumed product, and we will get excited for next product, and we'll just review it.
One of us. Then we have Marcel's self-indulgent fanboy hour.
Yeah, exactly. So, first things first, let's talk about the Democrats. And in particular, let's talk about the Democratic debates, which were, at the beginning of the month, right? I don't want to get too low energy on the podcast, but does anybody still care about the Democrat debates after they've already happened?
No.
If you listen to us, I mean, you should have been listening to the evil Tom Woods and his 2 episodes on him.
It seems like ages ago. We were so much younger then.
Yeah. It just feels like another lifetime, probably because I was actually in a different physical location too. I was like thousands of miles, 8,000 miles away about.
An undisclosed pocket of resistance.
Yeah, an undisclosed pocket of resistance far away from, a full hour away from the nearest airport. I was at Libertarian Hogwarts, a magical...
Libertarian Hogwarts.
I will just... Yeah. Even the way the stairs are at the place.
That's a great way to describe that.
Yep. So, Democrat debates. I don't even remember what happened.
The most important thing to come out of the Democrats this month has been Joe Biden saying, quote, "I'm not going crazy." Which, by the way, that's here's a persuasion trick for those of you who don't know. We don't process words like don't and not very well. So when you say to someone, "I'm not going crazy," that's effectively the same thing as saying I am going crazy.
It was at this most recent debate that, Tulsi did her thing to Kamala, yeah?
We talked about that already.
But
that shows how unimportant these debates are. We don't even fucking know what happened.
Yeah, are you sure it wasn't in the second debate where Tulsi... No. It had to have been, because in the first round of debates, it was Tulsi and Tim Ryan. That was the big thing. Right? So this time, the Tulsi moment was, a Hawaiian slaughtered a pig. Tulsi Gabbard destroyed Kamala Harris with facts and logic.
BTFO.
It was actually pretty brutal, too.
Cat fight.
Yeah. You could hear the... when...
I'm so glad you did it, so I didn't have to.
Yeah.
As the resident sexist of the podcast.
It is a soft bigotry of low expectations. Tulsi Gabbard went in on Kamala Harris for her record of being the epitome of, everything wrong with, paternal progressivism and California politics. Being a steadfast drug warrior when that's where the wind seemed to be blowing. And then as soon as weed is legal, then you are on Charlemagne's radio show. I don't know what is Charlemagne the God's podcast or radio show actually called?
His radio show is The Breakfast Club.
And then she's on The Breakfast Club joking about, how not only did she smoke weed, but she inhaled.
And laughing about it.
Yeah, and laughing about it. And then not only that, how Kamala Harris fought to suppress evidence that would exonerate somebody that was falsely convicted and tried to keep people in jail beyond the end of their sentences or something along those lines so that they could be labor for the state. And this goes back to something that I may have said in the last episode. Again, I really don't remember, about how Kamala Harris has absolutely no standing whatsoever to criticize Joe Biden for his allegedly regressive views on race. Because if Joe Biden is kind of stuck in 1961, Kamala Harris is stuck in 1861 because she's trying to literally enslave people for the government. Not even in any kind of weird libertarian way of taxes make us all slaves. No, Kamala Harris literally was trying to pad California's prison population so that they could be forced to work.
Other than that, she's a great lady. Yeah, Tulsi took her to task, and now this was the day after, we'd be having a great conversation about how she really smashed Kamala Harris, but the truth is, nothing came of it. Nobody cared.
Yeah. Well, that's not entirely true. The entire, as we see often in our business, the media came out in formation to talk about how Tulsi was problematic. It was reiterated that she was an Assad toady. Actually, Kamala Harris repeated that during the after debate interview.
Oh, yeah, she had that bizarre response where...
Yeah, it's
she just hits her with 40 facts in a row about your record and things you said and done, and then she just goes well, that's weird because you're a bitch, so I don't care about that.
Yeah,
and she just didn't
Nobody
answer.
even knows who Tulsi is. Tulsi's not important. Also, I heard that she's an apologist for dictators in the Middle East.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's so detached. It was like in the previous one when Biden got attacked and he seemed to be totally unprepared for it.
Yep.
These people are so insulated that somebody pointing out your record and you go, what?
Yeah, and for Kamala, this isn't a minor chink in the armor. She has to have known that somebody would bring up, criminal justice is going to come up.
And that's why it's a media story, because she got this far and no one had ever brought it up to her.
Yeah.
No reporter has ever said to her, hey, you literally endorsed holding people in chains solely to get free labor out of them, even after they were proved not guilty of crimes. Any thoughts on that? It was never brought up. Nobody ever had a problem with it because she is woke. And I hate to say this because it seems like it's regressing, but she's on the, I was going to say she's a Democrat, but Tulsi's a Democrat, so I guess that doesn't work. Yeah. She's on the team.
Yeah. And it's strange too, because again, granted, a lot of people on the stage, probably, the ones who are governors or mayors, probably don't have a leg to stand on, although I'm sure they could just say, Kamala is just obviously worse. But fine, let's say those candidates that were in the executive branch of government, maybe might want to just keep their mouth shut on the prison industrial complex, right? Maybe Joe Biden, who probably, I'm going to guess, supported like the Clinton crime bill or, whatever, maybe might just not say anything.
You're going to say the Clinton crime family.
Right. Maybe they would just, not say anything, but she has to have known they're going to say Marianne Williamson or someone, or even Pete Buttigieg, who was only in politics for, 10 years. And, is like, the charming white gay face of the Democratic Party right now. He might bring up the criminal justice thing. In fact, she should be terrified that some white dude who's like who's desperate for a win might just say, might just go for it.
Oh, no. No white dude's going to criticize her. Mayor Pete, you just called him the charming white face of the Democratic Party.
White gay face.
White gay face. Well, gay will be erased because if he attacks her, he will just become whiteface. And that's it. It'll just be whiteface attacks brown lady. Not very woke of you. Doesn't matter how many dicks he sucked. He will not be considered woke.
I don't know, Dan. I think if any of us look in a history book, we will find that white men will do some truly shocking things to win if they have to.
I've never looked in a history book in my life. The only book I've ever read is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
I don't know where to go with that one.
That was the only one I read. I found it on a bus.
So yeah, so Tulsi called out Kamala, and then the Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, were all there in unison to talk about how dangerous. They reported on Tulsi's remarks, sort of grudgingly admitted that they were all true, and then the memo came in, destroy Tulsi, who will not be in the next debates because
she's too attractive.
Because she's making all the
distract from all the old people on stage.
Yeah, no, because she hasn't pulled high enough, or rather, she has pulled high enough, but the polls where she's pulling high enough, the DNC just doesn't count them.
Of course.
Yeah.
So now, see, we have the benefit of our commenting on this a month later. A month later, Harris is still exactly where she was. She didn't go down. She didn't go up. And Tulsi's campaign is basically done. R.I.P. Coconut Milk Mommy. I put that in there just for you to edit out.
Oh, yeah. And then Marianne Williamson, I don't remember what she said during the debates. I'm sure it was
wild. I'm
sure it was great. I'm sure you just look back and reminisce. Just fill in something. There's a good meme there. But she did betray the cause of peace, as we really should have expected, because she tweeted out, oh yeah, so we'll get to this a little later. Donald Trump was discussing withdrawing from Afghanistan, and Marianne Williamson was saying, the U.S. withdrawing troops from Afghanistan without ensuring the rights and protection of women is unacceptable. The Taliban's history of brutality towards women must not be forgotten or ignored in these negotiations. Could you imagine committing
this
to
is
stay
the one who said this is the woman who made the centerpiece of her campaign that she will harness the power of love, correct?
Yeah. And again, I really want to, we're going to save the Afghanistan bit for a little bit later, but just to say that we got to stay in Afghanistan until the Taliban respects women's rights. All right, we got to bring feminism to the Pashtun.
Isn't she supposed to be a hippie broad?
Yeah.
Since when did hippies say, oh, my favorite things are peace, love, and military occupations for the purpose of ensuring feminism? Where does that third, it seems like one of these things doesn't fit.
Yeah, let's not forget, one of the most famous Afghans, that the United States has, although I think she's in England now, is Malala Yousafzai, who was famous, or claims of fame, was getting shot in the face by the Taliban for going to school. And you want to stay in Afghanistan until they respect women's rights? Come on now.
As we've all been reminded, even in America, we don't respect women's rights.
Yeah. And how can America talk? I've been told that America is one of the top 10 most dangerous places to be a woman. So we're probably going to make the Taliban worse.
Yeah. In fact, don't you think we could learn something from them?
Speaking of endless spirals, The Democratic Socialists of America held a conference. If you listen to this podcast, again, you've probably seen the videos.
Terrifying stuff.
Terrifying stuff.